Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Impact Online. I'm Tracey, one of your leaders here at Impact, coming to you with the distinct honor and pleasure to talk to you about a science. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing a song. You're welcome. So this week I want to talk to you about uncertain possibilities. Uncertainty. It's a word that either elicits fear or excitement in you. It's fear of the unknown or excitement about the possibilities ahead. And I think that word just kind of encompasses science in general, as scientists continue to learn what's in outer space, what's in the ocean, what's in the rainforest. Like, there is fear in the unknown and excitement about the possibilities ahead. Last week I talked to you about synchronous fireflies and how they are examples of glimmers of light. And I asked you to look for glimmers of light in your own life. And I hope you found some. But this week, today, I want to talk to you about the world's longest science experiment. Yeah, it's called the pitch drop experiment. So pitch, P-I-T-C-H, is a tar-like substance that is the thickest known fluid in existence. It's something that they used to use to waterproof boats and cabins. And what's crazy about this substance is the fact that at room temperature, it appears to be a solid. You can hit it with a hammer and it seems brittle. But at the same time, at room temperature, it's also a fluid. And so the scientist, a professor at the University of Queensland in Australia, set up this experiment in 1927 with a funnel over a beaker, and the funnel was filled with this pitch-like substance. And this professor, Purnell was his name, he wanted to demonstrate the different properties of this everyday substance for people. Little did he know that it would take 8 years for that first drop to fall and hit the beaker. 8 years. And you can actually go online and watch the live stream of this experiment on the Queensland, University of Queensland's website, which is pretty exciting and also not exciting at the same time. But this year, the 10th drop is supposed to hit the beaker, which is pretty cool. Like 93 years later, this experiment is still going on. That's 93 years of waiting and watching. 93 years of uncertain possibilities. So maybe that experiment isn't that exciting to you. Maybe you've heard of this instead. In 2003, an ecologist, who's a person who studies an organism as it interacts with other organisms in its physical environment. So this ecologist, by the name of Karen Parkinson, snapped a photo of this guy, the blobfish. And this picture went viral and it's used in memes, as you can see. And what's crazy is that this fish doesn't actually look like this when it's at the bottom of the ocean. No, you see this fish is made of this gelatinous material that's acidic, and it doesn't have a full muscular or skeletal structure, and so it's kind of blobby. But at the bottom of the ocean, it looks like this, which is totally different. And in 2003, we didn't know this fish existed. And that's just one of the things, like, there was possibilities in the uncertainty of looking at what's at the bottom of the ocean. There's fear in the unknown and excitement in the possibilities ahead. Science helps us navigate those uncertainties, just like the Bible helps us navigate uncertainties in our lives every day. An example can be found in Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 through 32. Here we find Jesus and his disciples right after he did the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000 with the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. So we pick up right there. It says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. And Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Even after the disciples witnessed the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, they still were uncertain of who Jesus was. They still doubted. And I don't know about you, but that makes me think, whoa, if these guys who had Jesus physically there saw these things happen in front of them, had doubts, what chance do I have? But I want you to look back at verse 31, where it says, immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. What was the first thing Jesus did when Peter doubted and began to sink? Did he yell at him? Did he shame him? Did he hold his head underwater? No, he rescued him. And then he wanted to walk through Peter's doubt with him. Just like with Peter, God is all about the rescue, working through stuff with you, so you can face uncertainty together with him. Let him help you walk across your fears and be excited about the possibilities ahead. To demonstrate this, we're going to do a little science experiment. All right, so here's what you're going to need for this experiment. You're going to need a plate, a dry erase marker, some rubbing alcohol, a piece of paper towel, and a glass of water. And so you're going to draw your image or write a word on your plate, let it dry for about 2-3 minutes, and then you're going to pour the water onto the plate and see what happens. And then to clean up, you can just dump the water in the sink, use the paper towel with some rubbing alcohol and wipe off the image, and then wash the plate with soap and water, and you're good to go again if you want. Pretty cool, right? You might not have known that was going to happen, and you might have known. And don't worry, the plate is still perfectly safe to use. You wash it, it's good, okay? But we didn't know initially. We took a chance, we tried, and our drawings got to walk on water. So what's an uncertainty that you're facing? And what would it look like to let God walk through it with you? Think about that. And we'll see you next time.